Kevin Rankin.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you here on All Access Live with Kevin Rankin. Today is going to be a really special show. We're going to talk about all things Breaking Bad. But before we get started, I want to thank my sponsors. If you know already, 5-Star Guitars in Beaverton, Oregon is the greatest place to find guitars, accessories, get your repairs done on the guitars. And if you are a friend of the show and you want to order from outside Oregon, you can go to the link below, 5starguitars.com/allaccesslive, and enter the promo code of AllAccess15, and you're going to save 15% off everything you see there. And you may also know that Oregon has no sales tax, so you're going to save a ton of money. You can go there and find guitars, pay no sales tax, save 15% on the accessories and everything you see, and you'll be helping the show, so let them know that All Access Live sent you. Also, I do want to thank my newest members. If you see below and you have not done so, I would like it if you do this. Go to youtube.com/@AccessKevin. You'll see an opportunity to subscribe there. I would love it if you do that after you see this video. I would love it if you like it. But beyond that, you can also become a member. And becoming a member helps sustain this show. You get access to certain things that only members get, like the new interview that I did with Kelly Keegy from Night Ranger. I also have a great interview that I did with Cy Kernan from The Fix, and an upcoming interview with Midge Ure from Ultravox. Hopefully, we'll get some fun Breaking Bad guests as well. But if you've not done so, please do so. Subscribe at this channel now. All right, so I have some amazing gentlemen I met the other day. We'll get into the story about how we met, but they are talking to you from the meth lab there in their Winnebago in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Please welcome Marq and Ed from the Breaking Bad store, Albuquerque. How you guys doing? Hey, gents. Yeah, there we go. I know that that's not really a meth lab, and I hope I didn't ruin your homeowners association connection there. But one thing that we can't see, and what I loved, Ed, when you first popped in, is you've got this really cool shirt. You've got the Winnebago. There we go. Yes. Do you guys just everywhere you go? Are you sort of representing the brand now?
I have. I tell people this all the time. It's like I have so many and cruise shirts that I can probably go about 4 months and not wear the same shirt twice. So,
oh my gosh!
So, yeah, it's
Where'd you
constant.
You got crew shirts, so that some people from the crew actually gave you stuff.
Yes, we found some, but some of them have. It's mostly Breaking Bad crew shirts is what I have. I wear them and I'm like, should I stop wearing them and just case or something? But I'm like, no, it's too cool. I gotta wear.
Well, you're already wearing. You're representing the brand because you've got. I know you've got some Breaking Bad tattoos, right? So everywhere you go, you've got Heisenbaby tattoos, and yeah. Oh my God, I love it. And Mark, so Ed Candelaria and Mark Smith, you guys, are you both originally? Oh yeah, here. So if you guys, I should do this for the caption. Why don't I toggle this and make sure that we've got it in the proper order here?
There you go.
Yeah. And I noticed that we've got people there in the chat. So folks, if you are chatting here on YouTube and we don't get to you right away, I'm going to try to, but there's a lot of fun stuff to cover. I was actually just in the Breaking Bad store yesterday. Here we go. How's this order? We got Mark Smith and Ed Candelaria. There you go. All right. So this is people
top billing. It pisses me off.
Yeah. The good thing is they can.
If you think
we can match mugshots here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is.
There you go.
But you can always just abbreviate it as.
Yeah.
So I always come first.
Yeah.
Always. I love this, man. We've got all sorts of folks here in the chat, both from Facebook and YouTube. If you guys got here late and you didn't find out, make sure you go to YouTube. You'll actually have access to over 260 other episodes that we've done on this channel. Not all of them are Breaking Bad, of course, but this is the special one, and I'm excited about it. So what I wanted people to know that have not yet been to the Breaking Bad store, first, I don't think there's a person on the planet that hasn't heard of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, maybe El Camino as well, right? But not a lot of people that I knew realized that there's a whole store dedicated to everything to do with those shows. And it's beyond just a store. This isn't just like a little trinket store where you walk in and get some swag, but this is it's a historical sort of landmark showing a museum dedicated to the show. So give me a little bit of history now. How long have you guys been in business, first of all?
Coming up on our third year anniversary. So we started January, like 2.5 months prior to the so, and we started in a really small store, but it was a cool store to get us going. And then for about 2 months.
2 months.
During that time, our landlord next to our store that was doubled and asked us if we wanted to move in there, and we're like, "Are we?" Oh yeah, let's do it. So we moved, and then we quickly on that one, and then we moved into the space where we moved three times in the three, and kept getting bigger. Yeah.
I love that because we can chat a little bit about how you expanded and where all this gear came from. I noticed some folks mentioned too in the chat. We noticed that your audio is going out just a little bit. So here's what I'm going to ask real quick, if you don't mind. We could have you just log back out and log right back in again. That actually sometimes might do. So what you can do, you can leave the show and then just come right back on the link that I gave you. And while you do that, I'm going to explain to folks a little bit about what I discovered in this store. So we're going to see Ed and Marq in just a second here. So while they do that, and I think that may be an internet connection, thank you guys for being patient with that. We'll get that squared away. They have a fun story to tell. So they'll be back here in a moment. Now, that shop, and if you haven't yet gone there, so this is the store, Breaking Bad store, a fan experience. That's the address. It's in Old Town Albuquerque, right there, and you can actually find them. They've got a great Instagram where they list some of the products that they have, but it's also dedicated to showing off some of the museum part. So let's see if this gets any better. Hi, gentlemen.
Hello.
Oh, so much better. That's it. It did it.
Here is the problem we had, Kevin.
Okay.
I was not here when you set up the stream.
Okay.
He is not technologically.
But I told him, hurry up. And he's like, well, the traffic is slow.
I had to work.
I had to go get a
Right.
burrito.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, you stop by Los Pollos Hermanos and pick yourself up. Okay.
You had dinner. I'm withering away. I'm withering
Oh, yeah. See, so those of you that waited, patience is always, it always pays off in the end. Let's talk a little bit about Los Pollos Hermanos, and then we're going to go into the history thing again. But this is how I found you guys in the first place. I moved to Santa Fe a couple months ago. Of course, a huge fan of the show. Breaking Bad, I think, is the greatest TV show ever created. Then when Better Call Saul as a spinoff came off, I realized Vince may have one-upped himself. The writing, the writing, the casting, and everything like that is so genius. Breaking Bad is so dark, and I like that. But I thought the amazing thing about Saul was that he was even more cerebral, right? So it makes you think a little bit more. And the clever part of Odenkirk's character is just ridiculously awesome. And Jesse Pinkman, of course, Aaron Paul, but in finding that, I landed in Albuquerque at an airport. I said, I wonder if they have some of these landmarks around. Popped into Google, searched Los Pollos Hermanos, and sure enough, there's Twister's there, the location for that restaurant. Once I went there, I thought, oh man, I knew that there was a van tour where you could actually take the Winnebago tour through Albuquerque, and it has a lot of the landmarks from the show. So I didn't take the tour yet. I just found some locations on Google, and the first thing that popped up when I had searched Breaking Bad Albuquerque was your store. And I had no idea what I was going to come in on, right? So the great thing is Ed and one of the other staff members were in there talking. Right when I walk in, he starts talking about Waukegan, and I thought, okay, for those people that don't know, I'm in a band. I had just played this show in a place, it's a suburb of Chicago, but nobody ever knows this town called Waukegan, Illinois. Not far from like their big Great American Amusement Park. But I'm looking at this guy thinking, how do you know Waukegan? Are you from there? And he said, no, I think it's just a funny word to say or something, and you asked what I had done there. So we talked about the connection and my band and everything. And it turns out you're an 80s fan as well. So we talked about A Flock of Seagulls and my connection with that. But I then got to see the magic behind this store. So I know that right now we've got a bunch of people in the chat lined up that are big fans of yours. I'm guessing some of these people may have been at the store before, but for people that don't know, they should understand that you guys have put, I can tell, thousands of hours into the development of this store and this museum. So where did all that stuff come from? Because it's all verified, authentic, pieces from the show. So did you have this like locked away in a storage unit somewhere, or where did this come from?
Our house.
You really did. You had this around your house, and
we had it. We have
some of it.
Well, we did.
Okay.
We still kind of sort of still have a Breaking Bad room.
Okay.
And that's where it started. It was just this one room in the house that originally was supposed to be a media room for all things media. And then it just kind of washed all the way over to Breaking Bad. And it was just this wall to wall. When we remodeled some of the house, Ed even had our painter take a piece of the crystal blue candy to Lowe's and color match it. So we have one blue wall in our Breaking Bad room. And the painter actually she was like, are you sure you want to do this?
Right. And you said you haven't seen the show?
Exactly.
Right.
I don't think she had.
No, I don't think she had.
But then when now the room is just completely empty because all of that stuff has migrated over to the store.
Right.
Okay.
Into the museum. And in 2014, Ed we actually even showed me a post from 2014 where he said we should do a museum.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of a why would we do a museum kind of thing, and it was always in the back of our minds. And so all that stuff was there, sitting there, waiting for the world to see.
Yeah, I mean, like I tell people, it's we get it. We've been collecting for over 10 years, but then as we've been doing auctions, we got a lot of our stuff from crew members, but the best thing now is before it was just Marq and I were the only ones enjoying the room with family and friends. Now everybody can enjoy what we've been collecting. So so when you have fans such as yourself that come in and their eyes, and they're like hyperventilating, some are crying. It's great to see because that's what we've been doing for all these years, and now it's like it's paying off. So
it's like you've invited everybody else to your living room. Really,
right?
At the museum part of this, I see like Karen A here in the chat has been there. Obviously, Lori, she seems to know you guys well as well. So, I think people that have been in there realize that each little section of the museum too dedicated to certain parts. Like you've redone the interior, the counter space for Los Pollos Hermanos. And then off to the side, you've got this glass case with Gus Fring's jacket there and his whole, the attire. You get goosebumps when you walk into that room, because I keep picturing you've got you've got his little cardboard cutout right there. But it seems to me that you've captured a lot of the essence of the show. And I wonder if you could tell me your favorite parts of that museum, because I know some of the facades, the things that you've put up there, are incredible, like Odenkirk's desk, Saul's desk, and the Hector's wheelchair there with the cousins behind. I mean, there are some incredible displays that you've done. But is there a particular spot in the museum that you're just ultra proud of?
For me, the pinnacle, I guess you could say, is the Los Pollos.
Yeah.
Hermanos, because we had the luxury of when they were filming here, we could go to the locations and everything. But the people who weren't, you can come in and they can actually feel like they're in Los Pollos. Whereas if you go out to the Twisters, where you went out to, they have things around there and you can stand in front of the painted wall. But you can't go behind the counter.
Right.
You can't put on that visor and apron and actually be a Los Pollos employee. And when we added the actual lights from Los Pollos above the counter, that gave it that extra feel.
You
now
really
you
got
actually,
lights from.
There's
wow.
there's a sign there that says, this is from I don't know, I'm not sure what season from Better Call Saul, but those are the actual lights. We got these from a couple of friends of ours that they were donated to them. And they donated them to us, and we just said, "Oh, well, it has to go in the boils room." So yeah, what you see there, and also the menu behind, that's also from the when Gus first started on Better Call Saul. They were going to use it. There was an error or something on it, so they gave it back to the printer, who gifted it to us. So
wow,
yeah.
So if it didn't have that error on it, it would have been on screen. But that was, that for us, that I love it when people go into the museum and they walk in, they see Saul's desk, his whole area. And they're, wow, that's so cool. And then they just take a little look to the right. And they look down to the back there, and their face just...
Right.
I would bet every single person, right?
I mean, we can hear them scream sometimes in the front. Yeah.
Well, I was in yesterday for the second time, and I noticed walking through there and spending 45 minutes to an hour in there, I saw so many more things I'd never seen before. And so... yesterday in particular, I was thinking, Tuco's Grills. You've got Tuco's, like the diamond grills there, and Mike's jacket in the back of the truck as he's like, and some of Aaron Paul's costumes. You've got like the Heisenberg hat. Oh my God! I mean, there's so many things in there that I think and it's a genius thing because you want a part of that show. When you walk out of there, you've got everything, including, which I must say, my son got so excited for me to have this Christmas. I should just say, as I have my props here, this is an official Breaking Bad. This almost looks like Breaking Bad meth colors here, but his University of American Samoa shirt. Really across the board here, the Namaste plate is the next acquisition that he wants. And so speaking of that was another thing that I noticed. Aside from all of the amazing souvenirs that you can buy and visit in the museum, you've also got this legendary wall of fame of all the actors. The entire cast from all the shows have been in there too, right? So tell me a little bit about the experiences, because I've seen everybody I can think of from the show and more. So tell me some of your favorite experiences.
Well, not everybody has been in the store. A lot of the pictures that you show was during filming of Breaking Bad. So of course the store wasn't open then, and we got to see them while they were filming the show. And then, of course, a few years prior to the store opening during Better Call Saul. But yes, we've had a lot of actors and actresses that have come to the store. We'd like to do meet and greets. Again, the store is primarily for the fans. We like to tell fans this is for you. So one of the things that we want people to do is have meet and greets so they can meet these people that they love on the show. But yeah, we just meeting a lot of them has been amazing. Marq was telling the story, I think yesterday, that right behind our house for Better Call Saul, that's where Tuco's grandmother for season 1 lives. So they were filming there. We were hanging out there for a very hot weekend. It was hot, but we were just hanging across the street. Bob Odenkirk was pacing back and forth. He was getting ready for his shot. There was nobody on the street, and he just crosses the street, talks to us for, I don't know what,
about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Wow. And then he just says, "You know what, guys? I gotta go pee before I start pee." Yeah. So,
the fact that he did, I like that you even clapped your hands just like Odenkirk would have, in the
just the way he said that. He goes, "I'd love to stay and talk, but I really have to go pee."
I really have to go pee. Yeah. These are some of the things that people don't think about, when there's the shooting of a show like that. I mean, the endless hours, right? They're out there shooting, I'm sure, for just countless hours in difficult locations. Those scenes out in the desert, man, I'm a sweaty guy. And I had to move to Santa Fe up in the elevation's high, and it doesn't get hot here, but I don't know how you do it in Albuquerque and out in the desert where that stuff is shot. I don't think they need to do much in the way of camera work and makeup. I think that is, makeup for the sweaty guy, but I think I would just be drenched the whole time. But did you go out in any of those scenes, out in the desert scenes where
No. Well, I'm going to tell you a little behind the scenes, though.
Okay.
A little not a spoiler, but a little secret. When we were watching Bob film the Buelas scene, they had a bunch of privacy screens up so you couldn't see Tuco because he was a big big surprise, big secret.
Okay.
In the episode, like was it the first or second episode? I forget which one it is. He takes the twins, the roller skating twins, out to the desert, and he's beating them up. And there's a camera angle where the camera's shooting up at Tuco's face. They actually built a set in the driveway of the Abuela's house.
No, it was next door.
Next door to the house.
Okay.
So the Abuela's house here. They built this platform so they could get that scene of shooting up at Tuco. Yeah. So not all of it's in the desert.
No.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I mean, some of those scenes where Saul's car gets dipped off. Don't get me wrong, they're in the desert a lot. And the Bagman episode was, I mean, the hottest day of the year. They were filming that, and they were just the crew talks about how hot it was for everybody, and how Bob and Jonathan had to suffer through that heat just to get those shots. But still, that's method acting.
I'm too delicate. I can't go to the desert. I'll just watch them while they're here.
We've been to Tahajali. Everybody goes to Tahajali. Everybody's gone to the first cook site, and right in that same area is where Saul pushes his car into the ravine, and all that takes place out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's all in the same area.
Yeah.
But the cook scenes, some of the cook scenes for Brian and Aaron back in the day was filmed right outside Netflix studios, because that's all desert out there too.
Yeah.
So they're not like that far out in the desert.
Yeah. Well, I have said this.
They still have their air-conditioned vans.
I've said this, that as I drive around Albuquerque, I noticed that they didn't have to work too hard to create sets there, because it seems to me like every other corner looks like a scene from the show, So I don't know if that's a good
or a bad thing.
I know. Well, I did talk to somebody that had worked on crew, who's now driving shuttle, back and forth between Albuquerque and Santa Fe. His side gig, is to drive the Sandia shuttle, and he mentioned that a lot of people migrated here, and some of the trouble that showed up kind of came because there was a glorification from the show, which, who knows? I mean, you know what? He may not realize that kind of stuff is happening everywhere right now.
Yeah.
The entire country is sort of struggling with drug epidemic, and so it might seem like it's glorified, but it's just because that much more use is happening. But
we really aren't. I mean, even if you look at it, Albuquerque still isn't the meth capital of the country either. So
right, I think that's
where did you say that was?
That was in Phoenix.
Yeah,
we weren't even in the top 10. I wanted, because you have people that come. Sometimes they'll come into the store and they'll be they'll like to joke around and stuff and say about meth, and I'm just like, well, I want to check. Are we?
Yeah, right.
I checked one time and I'm like, well, I don't know. 2021 say we weren't even in the top 10. So if somebody says something, I like to be like, well, I did look it up, and we're not even in the top 10. Yeah.
Statistics, yeah. Ed is the trivia guy. He's the statistics guy, right there. So I should tell people, right? So I, popped in. One thing I noticed that you guys have in the store, and I think it's a really unique thing. You engage, like everybody that walks in the door. I know that both you guys acknowledge people when they walk in. I love that you take the time to discuss the show with them, or maybe talk about certain scenes. Their eyes do light up about what you've done, but they also light up when they find that there's a connection between their experience in the show and what you have, knowing that you guys are historians. And then when somebody professes to have a lot of knowledge, I like that you say, well, really? So do you feel like you're a Breaking Bad aficionado? Well, we just happen to have a game that we play here. So
I always tell them, prove it.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit about this game. I think this is wonderful.
I just, it came about. Before we actually did trivia, I would actually do stuff in our old store, and I would be like, okay, see if you can answer this question, and see, and I would try to do that. And so when this trivia game came out, one of our friends, Teresa, she was like, you should do that. You should actually ask them a question from this trivia game. And I'm like, that's a great idea. So what I did was, let's see if they can do it. If they want to play, if we have the time, and they'll answer 2 questions from the trivia game, and then if they want to go for the great grand prize, the 4 of us, which is Mark and myself, and then our 2 employees, Santi and Lisa, we come up with these very difficult last questions because we have these grand prizes, and if you know it, you know it. So. Yeah. It's fun to do, and it's fun to like if we're slow and we're not slammed. It's like it's just fun to play. They
Sure.
love it because sometimes you get a crowd around them. It's sort of like Vegas. When you're getting
Right.
high money, and it's just you just see, especially kids. We love it when we get these young viewers like late teens, early 20s, and they want to prove it. And I love playing it, and so does Marq. It's fun to play.
Yeah.
So,
I don't get to play it as much as Ed does. He gets
Sure.
he really. I usually hand it off to him to let him do it because
I can always spot like the true fans. It's like
Yeah.
I don't really I can talk to them, say hello, but I can see them, and I just I can see how excited they are. I'll watch them on the monitor, and it's like if they really are like intent on everything, I'm like, they're fans. I want to ask them if they want to play trivia. So
Nice.
and also the amount of time they spend in the museum.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they're just there's just everything. They want to read everything. They want to gaze, engage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you, I think you mentioned the character that plays Howard Hamlin popped in not that long ago too, right? So did
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
he popped in just to say hey and he picked up some namaste plates for his friends?
A couple of times.
He's been in a few times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he went to our first store.
Okay.
Yes.
Went to our
Yeah.
first store.
Our second
and-
store.
Second
That's
store,
first
sorry, the medium-sized store, and then he's been in a couple of times into the new store,
To the new store. Yeah.
and he'll just hey guys, I'm here. You
Yeah.
know? And well, we actually honestly just the other day, we had Rex Lynn, who plays Kevin Whittel, Mesa Verde's owner.
Right.
He came in and he sat and had coffee with us. He sat in one of our chairs and talked for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. He's just
Just
chilling.
visited with us.
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing. And
It drives me crazy. I always do this because we always have these fans that come in. It's like, do they come in? Do they? I'm like, yeah, they come in. And we'll have a lot of people. But when the actors and actresses come in, like all of a sudden, there's nobody in the store.
Sure.
And it drives me nuts, and I'm like, man, and then once they leave, that's when we get everybody in the
Right.
store.
Well, you've got the proof. I mean, all of the pictures. Right? You've got pictures with so many of the cast, and one of my favorite stories was the invitation from Vince to bring you guys out to the debut. It was season 6 premiere, right? At out in Hollywood, you guys were flown out. So you want to talk a little bit about that experience? I want to hear about the red carpet and you guys.
I love this story because it kind of goes back to our starting of the business as well. Because back in 2019, when the opportunity was given us to start the company, we debated back and forth. Is this something that we can do? Ed was going to say no. He was ready to go to the person we were going to get the space from and say, no, we can't do it. And luckily I talked him out of that, and we are 3 years later. But the red carpet, we got the invitation, and it was a Wednesday when we got the invitation. The premiere was on Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, Ed, this is what flights are to Burbank. This is when we would leave. This is when, this is, I've got us, a hotel and everything. And he goes, we can't. We have a store to run. We can't just up and leave for 2 days. And of course, the employees, they were awesome, and they said, yes, we'll cover it for you while you're gone. We'll take care of it for you.
Heck yeah.
But to get that invitation, and you just sit there and go, this is what it was all about.
Oh yeah.
This is saying, hey, the creator of these shows has said, you two have done such a great job with the fans and the brand that we'd like you to be part of this event, which was very humbling for me.
I was going to throw up, I think, in the plane going over there. I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do.
And then when, Vince is standing on the red carpet and he looks over at us and he goes, Marq, Ed, Marq. I don't know which one's which, but I want to talk to y'all later.
Oh,
and
nice.
we're like, how do you know us? We're really nobodies compared to the sea of people we're around right now. And just to be part of that was, if everything shut down tomorrow, I'd be happy.
That was, yeah. I mean, there was, we've had highs this week. We've had lows, but that was a definite high. We loved it. It was so amazing. I'll never forget it. Just being on the red carpet. We walk in, and the cousins, they know us. We just had them at the store like a couple months before. And they're
really?
Like, come here. You're gonna stay with us. And we're just like, okay. And literally, they guided us through. So they helped our nerves. And then after a while, it's like, they kind of went their way, we went our way, and we were just more relaxed. And then every once in a while, we got to meet up with them again. but they were our chaperones, I guess.
Wow, yeah, escorts. Oh, wait,
Yes, they were
or
escorts.
I'm going to say your bodyguards, but tell me
Yes.
now. Please tell me they showed up in the suits with those shoes. Were they wearing the
did not.
boots? Oh,
No, they not at the red
Not
carpet,
at the red carpet.
but they did at our store.
Yes.
Oh,
So when they
really?
did the meet and greet with the fans,
Yeah.
they came in their suits with the boots, took pictures.
Yeah, we supplied them with an axe and a machete. And, yeah.
and I'm going to be. It's going to be a huge spoiler that only your listeners are going to know right now. Those suits and those boots are going to be on display at the store.
At the store.
Are
We
you
did obtain
kidding
those
me?
for the museum. Yeah.
Oh my God, man! That's
Both Daniel and Lewis's suits and boots.
Yeah.
wow. Oh.
So we'll have those on display at the store. Hopefully January when we finish the remodel of the museum.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're doing a remodel this month?
Well, we're going to start doing it.
Right.
Okay.
We're in our first phase. We have to do a second phase. And then, like, I think the third phase will be like where we can show
Everything's
everything.
displayed.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So you've got those. You've been spoiled with that. It's about 40 plus pieces coming in.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Of wardrobe and props from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
It just
So-
keeps getting better. Well, you talked about the highs and then the lows, the slows, right? So anybody that works a business knows that there is no way anybody can come into that place and not realize that this is a labor of love for you, right? I know that you don't have, I'm guessing that you don't have, Bryan Cranston's salary right now, doing what you do. But here's what I want people to know. That link that's down there, the Breaking Bad store, abq.com, they've got so much merchandise available at that link. And right now, it's December 5th. We're shooting this about 3 weeks before Christmas. So if you're looking for Christmas gifts, and this is not anything that they asked me to do, but I can't think of a cooler place to find Christmas gifts. They've got stocking stuffers. You can buy meth for your kids, ladies and gentlemen. You can get meth candy for your kids and put it in the stockings.
And I'm the shipping department of the store.
Okay.
So the minute and Ed laughs at me because the minute an order hits our system, I'm shipping it out the next day.
Oh,
And
wow.
if people go on there now, and I'm sorry if I'm plugging or whatever.
Yes.
If they order, say you want to buy something for your son or something, and say, hey, this is a Christmas gift, we'll actually gift wrap it for free, and send it.
Yeah.
out.
Really?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can buy it and then ship it somewhere else and say this is for a Christmas gift. Can you gift wrap it? And we gift wrap it for free.
Not
Okay.
he.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
know how
We
to
he.
gift wrap.
doesn't know how
Yeah.
to
I put one tape on and I'm like, I'm done.
Oh my God, this is so great. But,
So we want the fans to be excited when they get that package from the
Yeah.
Breaking Bad store and they're like, oh my gosh, it's when can I get this? So
And the funny thing is we love it like when grandmothers come in and they're buying the candy and they're like, am I a good grandma for? I was like, you're the best grandma ever. They'll
buying
love you.
for buying meth candy for their
Meth
grandkids.
candy, yeah.
Oh,
You're giving
God.
them cavities.
I know we.
and one of the things about the store that we've prided ourselves on since we had the plague.
Yeah.
And during the plague, a lot of local artists suffered because of it, because they didn't have their trade shows and their craft fairs
Right.
and things like that. And because of our licensing agreement and everything with Sony, under our umbrella, local artists are allowed to display their stuff and sell their take on Breaking Bad in our store.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
So you get these unique gifts
You can't get
that
anywhere
can't
else.
get anywhere else.
No.
We have a wall of Breaking Bad Christmas ornaments made by local artists, and it tells me And then when people come in, they're like, "Oh, this is a local artist. Oh, I want that.
Yeah.
I can get that. I can get that anywhere, but I can get this one that you're
Right. You do.
So
There's so much unique stuff. I mean, the artwork that's in there is phenomenal. You've got drawings and paintings that are in there from people too that I've seen that it looks to me. At first, when I saw that stuff, I thought, I wonder if this is like a stage artist that's actually there on set that's designing what the set should look like. And then I realized, no, these are local artists, but you do have some of that stuff too. I saw some of some of the script writing and some of the I don't even know what to call them, the call sheets that have, all right, so today's scene is going to be X, and it's, here are the scenes and the descriptions. There's so much detail that's in that store. And I think, one of the things I noticed yesterday too was that there are certain areas that are dedicated more specifically to certain people or certain cast members. So you've got one area that's that one room that has all sorts of stuff, but there's a lot of Aaron Paul in the one room off to the right, just as you come into the museum.
Oh, yeah.
Just before you get into Los Pollos. But Jesse is still there on the left. You've even got Skinny Pete's like outfit right there, right, with the beanie, and isn't that his beanie?
Oh no,
no.
that's actually Aaron Paul.
It is Aaron Paul's. Okay,
the one sitting on the futon.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. I see that. I would have lost the trivia question.
Get a Skinny Pete outfit. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'd love a Charles Barker outfit.
Yeah.
But
I see him everywhere. I see a ghost of him everywhere in Albuquerque. I just got to say, everywhere I go, I keep seeing Skinny Pete, and I'm like, oh no, it's not you. It's
just another meth head.
doppelganger, right? Yeah.
No, the futon that Jesse's sitting on is actually from the show as well.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Oh my
God!
God.
Go back and watch the episode "Open House," where Jesse throws the big rave in his. He's like, you know what this place needs? It needs some. And then it goes do 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 do, and that's the futon in the scene.
Oh,
yeah.
That's such an intense scene. The
psychedelia.
And then
when we got his outfit, we had to do it. Yeah. So now, if I can figure out how to get those, the green and red and all those lights and everything, that'd be cool to put on display. There.
Oh yeah.
The speakers.
We still have like some stuff, like you said, we have the call sheets. We have so many call sheets and everything. I wish that we could display everything that we still have in this house. I mean, because I'm hoping that we can even get a bigger store, because I would love to do literally everything that we have, so people can really get an idea of like a timeline and what have you of just how they shot everything and how it's displayed. I was telling Mark, one of these days I want to, if we can get a bigger store, I would do just a big scene of a Breaking Bad Christmas scene of everything, and we could just decorate it the way, they never had a Christmas episode, but we'll do it for them.
Like a little nativity scene. You put little.
Yes, we'll put little baby Holly as the baby Jesus.
Skinny Pete,
the three wise men.
Jesse could be the shepherd boy.
Oh my God! I think the script writers might have already gone that way.
Right.
I'm sure something's being developed. Or you may just be able to pitch this to Vince right now and just say, hey. The fans have asked, right? So
if George Lucas can do the Star Wars Holiday Special, we could do a Walter White Christmas.
Yeah, a musical.
As fun as that would be, we don't want this thing to jump the shark, right? I mean, we
don't.
No
jump the shark.
And it never did. That's the crazy thing about the amount of seasons. It seems to me that nobody wanted the shows to end. Nobody wanted Breaking Bad to end. Nobody wanted Better Call Saul to end. But man, to go out on top, go out while you're ahead is the greatest thing you could ever do in the industry, right? So
and we get a lot of questions. People come in and go, "Hey, are they going to make another series? Are they going?" It's like, why? Why do you need to put any more out there? I mean, everybody talks about the Gus. They want to do the Gus series. Giancarlo wants to do the Gus series, but I think
he wants to.
Oh yeah. Giancarlo Esposito. He's told them 100 times, I want to do a Gus spinoff. I want to do a Gus spinoff.
He's told us too.
Yeah.
It's like he was talking to us and he was just like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I'm just, I was like, that's good. I don't know. I would hope that if they do it, they would treat it, with respect and with the legacy, right? So,
but Vince wouldn't do it.
You don't think he would?
No,
I don't think so.
He's coming back to New Mexico. I mean, he is coming back to New Mexico with the new Apple TV series that he's doing.
Was that just to come on my podcast? Is that why?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear that, Vince? Vince? Yeah. You heard it first, Vince. You're right here on All Access Live.
We'll call him for you. No.
Yeah. No, but so he's got an Apple TV series coming out.
He does. He signed on with Apple TV. And Ray Seahorn's going to be the star. The details are so vague. Vince hasn't even told her what's going on with it.
Really?
But it's going to be filmed here in Albuquerque. He was just here a few weeks ago scouting locations.
Could be up north too, I think.
So
towards Santa Fe?
Yeah.
But he wanted New Mexico. He wanted the crew.
Yeah.
The crew that worked with him the whole time and in the other series. And so we just have to wait and see what he comes up with. So
let's talk a little bit about Rhea Seehorn, okay? Because you've got her right above Saul's desk. There's a picture there. Watching the series, when Saul came out with season 6, I had a wonderful relationship with a gal named Kim. And so if for some reason Rhea Seehorn hadn't gotten married about a year ago and decided that she wanted to go, meet some drummer from an old 80s band, I could call her by her cast name and it wouldn't be that inappropriate. Tell me about Rhea Seehorn and her personality. Is she just a joy?
She's. I had to say.
Wait. Why don't you ruin it for me and just tell me she's awful?
She's horrible.
She's terrible.
We
Oh
walked
my
up to
God.
her and said,
Such a diva.
We're like, can we please get an off card? She get away from me. She
Yeah.
was like Mariah Carey.
Yeah, no. There is nobody in the cast of all of them that. Again, I always tell everybody. I think people that come into the store, they're always sort of like they want to hear the gossip, right?
Right.
They're like who's bad, and I was like, no one.
Right.
I mean, they all give you your time. They focus on you, and that's how she is. She is just like down home. She loves it.
She's one of the ones. Well, they're pretty much all this way, but they're all there for the fans.
Yeah.
They all. Anytime anybody's interacted with her, they've got nothing but good response from her. I mean, she knows she's there for the fans. She does a local improv show when she's in town.
Really?
It's this place called The Box, and they are a nonprofit. They do stand up improv, and they part of a nonprofit organization that we are sponsors of. But whenever she's there, she would do the show. She'd come out afterwards, meet all the fans, spend time with them, take pictures, autographs, whatever. No questions asked.
I can tell you a story about Rhea Seehorn.
Please.
This is the one you want to hear.
This is the one. So we went to our friends of ours. She knew the chef, I believe, of one of this restaurant, and he told them, Rhea Seehorn, along with Michael McKean, they're here at this restaurant. And she was like, you got to go. And I'm like, Mark's like, let's go. So we flew. I thought I was going to die. We flew on the freeway because we had to go to this place called Nob Hill in Albuquerque. And we're sitting at a table right next to them, and we see them, and it's a bunch of the cast members, I guess. And so after a lot of them disbanded, we went outside, we talked to Rhea, and the cool thing about what she did was she walked Michael McKean to his apartment. She came back and she saw us, and she was still talking to us. She goes, "Do you want to meet a couple of other actors? They're inside." And we're like, "Who?" And it was Rex Lynn and it was Cara Pinko, who plays his assistant, right? And so she brings them outside, and so and we're just chatting with them. That's how cool she is. She's amazing.
She's the ambassador of goodwill, the conduit to good times. Yeah. I'm not surprised. One thing about people when, in the industry, in the entertainment industry, music is not that far removed, right, from film and TV. It's funny, though, that people in the film and TV industry get, they're excited to meet musicians. So they'll ask me, can I meet so-and-so, or tell me about this other band. And the same thing, from the music side of things, we're not, we're in front of the camera, but it's a different thing. We're on stage, but we don't get the same kind of experience that they do. But the sincerity, the authenticity of being able to engage with your fans, if it weren't for those fans, and the reason I think that this show is so important for me to show attention to Marq and Ed, and I think where Vince gets this, is that if it weren't for people like you, they would have viewers, but they wouldn't have legacy. Like what you guys are doing is maintaining the legacy of this show. There are all these people in the chat that have been in the store that have not only seen all the merchandise, but they've engaged with you. They've experienced the same thing that I did, where they see your passion for the show, but they see your connection to the fans. And I think Vince gets that from what I hear, and I think sounds like Rhea does too. Michael McKean, I'm a huge fan of from the Spinal Tap days, right? So you got the combination of old school, music and also film and TV. He's an incredibly comedic actor. He's a genius comedian, but he plays such an incredible character on the show, And so when I talked earlier about feeling like the writing and the casting and I'm specifically talking Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, El Camino is a perfect extension to those, right? But I think part of it, that to me seems like when you talked about how Giancarlo is wanting to have a spinoff or a Gus Fring sort of series. El Camino sort of satisfied the needs of all those people that just needed a little more Breaking Bad, right? Yeah. And Vince had a little bit of stuff that he wanted to tie up, some loose ends that needed to be tied up. It seems to me like the writing and the casting was so genius that those the I's get dotted, the T's got crossed throughout the series, all the way through. You didn't get to the end of the entire series without having the pivotal answers. Like another series that was huge, right? Sopranos was a huge series that had come out, and prior to Breaking Bad, I think across the board, you ask 100 people, what's the greatest TV series ever created? A large majority of those people were saying Sopranos before, for a dramatic series. And the con to that was that a ton of things were left unanswered. And there's a magic and a mystery to that people got away from that thinking, well, I can make it up in my own mind. It's, it's subjective, right? It's like a piece of art. But for these series, I felt like the answers were in there. And it's fact, if you go back and you watch the series again, you see more answers, right? Some of the things you didn't think were really answered, they were. You just had to dig a little bit deeper. Things like a Gale, I think, I love that you've got his
fanny pack and microphone.
Oh yeah.
No,
The
death scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When you folks, if you're watching and you have not been at the store, when you go up to buy your merchandise, you go up to ask questions, you're going to see Gale just sprawled out, all sorts of shots of Gale's death, like, bullet wounds in his head and everything, face down in the carpet, or face up actually in the carpet. But I think I'm curious to know for you guys, when you watched the series, and maybe let's start with you, Marq, or did you guys see the very first episodes together? Did you see the very first Breaking Bad? Okay. Very first episode. Not the first episode. The first time you ever saw a Breaking Bad episode.
We were in it was season 2.
Okay.
Because we were not on the bandwagon at the beginning.
Right.
We never even heard of it. And Ed's sister and nephew were like, "You've got to watch this show. You've got to watch this show. It's called Breaking Bad." We're like, okay, whatever. Of course, like everybody, we sat down and watched the first season in one sitting.
Yeah,
of
course.
Let's watch the next one. Let's watch the next one.
Yeah.
And so that was that. But we watched it all together all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
We watched every episode together, as well as going to see El Camino in the theater, so forth.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
so you watched. So they said you got to watch this show. So season 2 is where you came in, and you saw it from episode 1, season 2.
It was episode. Well, yeah, we watched. We binge watched the first season.
Okay,
we binge watched the first season in time to watch episode 1, season 2 when it premiered.
Okay.
So we watched from that point on. We watched both series live. It's like every week we were there tuned in to watch these episodes. And it was just when people come into the store and they're like, "Oh, I got to the part where they melt the body in the bathtub." Hashtag spoiler alert. It's like
Hold on, wait. I don't think you're spoiling anything. If you guys are watching this show right now and you haven't watched Breaking Bad, you're gonna get all sorts of things spoiled. But okay, so they get to that point. Did people say they stopped watching at that episode?
Yeah, people stopped watching it at that point, and then I was like, go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
Get past that episode.
Right.
And then a lot of people are like, oh, it's so violent, I can't watch. I'm like, watch a lot of television now. A lot of the television was more violent than Breaking Bad ever was. Yeah, there were some violent scenes in it.
Yeah.
But compared to television nowadays,
for sure,
Breaking Bad is very subtle.
I even tell people that they've never watched it. I'm like, just watch 3 episodes. If at first you don't like it, you don't want to go to the next one, then go. At least you say you watched it. But if you watch the 3 episodes and you want to keep going, then keep going.
Ed sounds like the drug dealer. He's like, hey, listen, try meth 3 times.
A little pusher here. Well, because they come in with all these fans and they're like, I don't get it. Well, and they're like telling them, well, you got to watch the show.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling them, well, start it. It's on Netflix. Just watch 3 episodes. Yeah, there you go.
So go ahead.
Oh, no. You just reminded me of something, Ed. When I was in there yesterday and I was watching that scene, or when I was watching a woman and a man come in, a guy sits down behind, Odenkirk's desk. She's taking a picture of him as Saul Goodman there with the backdrop, the We the People and his whole setting. But there's that picture of Reese Einhorn up above, and the woman taking the picture looked a lot like Kim Wexler. And I was thinking, oh man, there's a little Kim there. And she's like, I don't know, I've never seen the show. He keeps telling me. And I said, wow. Okay. So me, the guy that has absolutely no qualms about asking anyone to do anything. I was going to try and have her act out a couple of parts just for my own bank, but the thing is, Ed, it's not the gratuitous stuff, right? The thing that's difficult, I think, for people to see is the realism. It's every single bit of that show could absolutely happen. This is not Star Wars, man. This is not a Disney show. Everyone knows that people have been afflicted by cancer. People have been afflicted by developmental disabilities that are trying to provide for their families, and they're going to do almost anything they could to provide for their family. There's the genius in the show came from that human connection, even like Jimmy McGill, right? And his brother, I mean, with Michael McKean at home with this maybe made up condition, or, maybe he does. I mean, the whole concept behind Saul is so genius that you never really know whether McKean's thing is psychological or it's an issue, but all Jimmy wants to do is just make his brother proud, right?
Yes, that's it.
And even though he's a shitty person, that he's the protagonist, and Walt is the protagonist that does all things wrong in Breaking Bad. He is broken, right? He breaks, but that is the genius. I mean, I remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have to say, when you say realism, it's true. And before Marq started to work there full time, it was mostly just me. I was the only one manning the store, and to this day still. But I used to get a lot of people that would come in and they want to tell me their stories because of Breaking Bad. So I would get cancer survivors. I had this one kid come, and he actually took off his hat. He was bald. He's like, I'm still going through radiation. Breaking Bad has helped me because it's so real. I go through this, and that's why I love the show. I've had people like drug addicts that have kicked the habit, and I just get all these stories. Sometimes I tell Marcus, like, I feel like a bartender because I feel like I'm hearing these stories, and I have to, I'm talking to them and what have you. And sometimes it's like I come home and I'm just mentally exhausted because you just get these stories, and I've had people cry in front of me telling me their stories, and it's because how real, like you said, the show is.
Yeah.
So it's that real.
I think one of the stories that hits me the most, and it's not because of the store. We had gone and we had met John Delancey, who plays Jane's dad at a Star Trek convention one year.
Oh man!
And we had him sign because we had met Kristen Ritter previously, and so we had, for fans to give away for trivia prizes, we had her autograph and his autograph on a picture of them, the two of them together having their conversation in the cafe kind of store thing, and we took the pictures up to him to sign, and he told us that he gets the same kind of thing. He's had people come to him and say, my son or my daughter died from overdosing, and the way you handled it on the show is exactly the way it is in real life. And not that they caused plane crashes or anything.
Of course.
But the way that they played that whole thing out was just so real, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's the way Vince writes it. He's a damn good writer.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. I the fact that he sees the connection with you too, that he saw you on the red carpet, and, he sees that your value is a lot more than just guys that carry on, the story with a bunch of merchandise. Some people would be out there that would really capitalize on somebody else's success. Somebody could be capitalizing on Breaking Bad success and just wanting to sell merchandise for the buck. This is all about passion to you guys. I recognize that. I think Vince sees it too. He's been in the store. He's had to have been in the store, right?
He's never been to the store.
Never has. All right, Vince.
His
listen.
assistant. His assistant. Yeah. She loved it, so she's been in the store. Marq always he makes fun of me because like those pictures that you see of us with the cast.
Yeah.
He's like, my God, could you be any more vain? And I'm like, this is not about that. I want people to know that we are fans, that we have been with the show since the show was on. And this is not just a cash grab for us. It's not. Because if it was, then I wouldn't be at the store. I would be in Bermuda. I said, this is the way people can see that we are fans, that we have been collectors, I show them my tats. I'm like, this is not just something I just did, right?
But also on the same note, I tell people, if I didn't have to pay for the building, it would just be all museum.
Sure. Really?
The sales floor is just to pay to keep the lights on and put stuff in the museum. But that's what I would do.
Okay.
If we could, I would, it would be a small little gift shop in the corner of a giant museum, and just have nothing but stuff for people to look at and photo ops and.
I mean, I'm a Beatles fan, so I always, they have a Beatles museum in Liverpool, and it's like 3 stories tall, and I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want Breaking Bad. I want it to be 3 stories, and I want timelines, and
Yeah.
I want to do all of. I'm never. I always tell everybody, I'm Veruca from Willy Wonka. I'm never satisfied. I want more. So
Yeah.
I want it all, and I'm always thinking of new stuff. And I tell Mark, this is what I want, and Mark's like, oh God, not again.
You can. I mean, the thing is. And I mean this like sincerely, you guys, to have 2 staff members and you guys is not enough, right? I mean, if you think about how big the show is, I'm sure you guys realize it's not enough, especially on some days where you're like, I'd really like a vacation, right? But this is your passion, and so to be able to franchise in a grand scheme would be a tremendous thing, right? And I know that you're not in it for the cash grab. I think fans know, and the people that are here in the chat, they know that. You've assembled something that they would never be able to see anywhere else. There's no place on the planet that has this. Now, Ed, you talked about the Beatles Museum. I know the one you're talking about, Liverpool, down next to the Magical Mystery Tour, where you hop on the bus and you take that tour around Liverpool. My band happens to be from Liverpool, right? So the neat thing is, my youngest son is a huge Beatles fan. At 10, he knew more about the Beatles than I ever did. And I should know a lot more about my own band, A Flock of Seagulls. I knew 4 lads from Liverpool just happened to be my band too. So we went on the Magical Mystery Tour. My son came over to Liverpool. We went around, and everywhere that the bus was going, my son already knew about the stops before we got there. He was a rabid fan. He said, oh, Dad, Penny Lane's right around the corner. And this is where, and he told me all the stories about the behind the scenes of Strawberry Fields. But on the bus, the tour guide said, most people don't realize that there are also some other bands from Liverpool that have made a success, like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and A Flock of Seagulls. And my son said, Dad, you're famous. And it took the guy from the Beatles tour, right, to give any credit to his dad. But what I saw when he lit up, when he saw all of the things that they assembled, the original Ringo Starr drum kit, or, even, in the Cavern Club, where they recreated the Cavern Club to make it look just like the original one from the 60s. And you see hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, every year coming into a place to see what legends, like the stamp that legends put on this planet. Now, we're only, a decade into the lifespan, right, of Breaking Bad, really. Mm-hmm. So you think about, it's been 60 years since the Beatles broke.
Yep.
So 50 years from now, in the grand scheme of things, when Breaking Bad has become an international, global phenomenon that carries on the way all these movies and TV shows have, that have like the earlier TV shows that have just stood the test of time. That is absolutely what Vince Gilligan has done. And you guys are carrying the torch for this thing. So I think he sees it, and you really should be proud of what you've assembled. But beyond that, people should know. People outside should know what you guys have done, how much different this is than anything else. And so I've got a handful of people in the chat that have been asking, like Robin Salazar says, I still don't know how you decide what goes into what gets put up in the museum. So maybe you can answer a little bit about, because Ed, I know that you said you go to auctions and you figure all this stuff out. Maybe talk a little bit about how you acquire some of this stuff besides just cast members giving or like sneaking you stuff off the set or however that happened. But yeah, but because
that's where the Gus prosthetic came from.
Yeah,
it was a crew member.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that people should know about this. That's the craziest thing. When Gus's face gets blown off, tell him about this. Like, you guys have that prosthetic from his face in the museum.
So we when we got that, we were blown away, literally blown away that we got it. That to me is my favorite piece in the museum, is
because it's so unique.
Yeah, I mean, getting Walter's hazmat suit was one of our grail items,
and underwear.
Oh, those are his tidy whities.
That's one of the pairs of tidy whities from him. So we got that, and we had gone to this Comic-Con in Houston, Comic-Palooza, and we had it, and we wanted to have Gus sign the back card because we wanted to put it up in the museum. And whenever you go to Comic-Cons or something, they're always like, no, you're standing in line, don't take pictures, you can't take pictures of everything. So we get up to the front to get our autograph and everything, and he goes, oh my gosh. And it's in a Ziploc bag, and he goes, is it sanitized? And we have no idea. It's been in a Ziploc bag since
I'm not going to take it out.
He rips that bag open, takes it and he puts it up to his face, and it just, you
it
see
fits
it fits
right
him perfectly.
beautifully.
Oh my God.
Everybody in line to get the autograph, their cameras are out and they're taking pictures. I don't think they could have stopped him.
Yeah, there was no stopping.
But the idea of him, putting that up there, and that can never be.
And you can see, we took pictures of it, and we have them next to the prosthetic, so you can actually see.
Yeah.
This is him with the prosthetic. There was only 3 made, and they had to keep putting another one because they melted, and they kept throwing the ones that were melting away. Well, one of them, the crew member took it because he didn't want it to.
We can't tell you who the crew member was. We don't get to find.
Right.
And then we obtained it. So that's
actually, I'm gonna have you guys stop telling those stories, because honestly, when Vince is shooting his new things, if he finds out that any crew members are stashing stuff aside, he's gonna start going through bags, and so the guys are just kidding, Vince. Just kidding.
Yeah. No, actually, I truly believe he had the permission. I don't think he stole it. I
believe that too.
So I have a letter.
We presented actually some stuff to like Vince and to Peter Gould that we obtained, right, and to have them sign it. And even like Peter Gould's like, "Where did you get this?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna say." But he was like, "Oh, it's all right."
Yeah.
Well, at this point,
signs, around town.
Oh yeah. Well, so Lisa Masters here is in the chat. She's asking, "How'd you get some of the locations?"
One of the thieves who took them.
Oh, hi, Lisa. Yeah. Lisa's no longer going to be on set, but
that's our employee.
That's our employee.
Oh, hey, nice. All right, that's.
She was also on Better Call Saul.
She was. She was in the elevator scene in Waterworks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you probably get this asked a lot, okay? And so I don't want to ask typical questions, but I'm going to throw a couple your way. Ed first. I talked about where I felt like the genius was in the writing between the two. Do you have a favorite between the two series? Can you even choose?
Ozymandias.
No, which series?
Well, okay, but that's your favorite episode. I'm sure you get asked all the time about what episode, for sure.
Yeah.
And there are, and every person on the planet, because they're so subjective, has a different connection to episodes too, right? Yeah. So I get why they might resonate with one episode, but for as far as a series goes, which do you feel like connected more with you?
It's always going to be Breaking Bad, because if it wasn't for Breaking Bad, there would be no store. There would have been none of our Facebook groups. There would have been none of that, because and my sister would never have told us. And we, I would still be at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Mark would still be, working 12-hour days at his old job. So yeah, it's always going to be Breaking Bad. Yeah, Mark is all Better Call Saul.
I'm Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. Now, don't get me wrong. Breaking Bad is amazing.
Yeah.
But Better Call Saul, I think the character development on Better Call Saul was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think they took characters you didn't care about at the beginning, and you, like, with everybody was like, "Oh, I love Walter. I feel bad for Walter. Oh, now I hate Walter." Yeah. But you took this character named Kim Wexler from nothing, and you turned her into the character that she was by the end of the series.
Right.
And, everybody always jokes about, if they killed Daryl in The Walking Dead, we all riot. But if they had ever removed Kim from Better Call Saul, the show would not have continued. I don't think the show could have been the way it was.
And we asked people who their favorite characters on. I mean, I think it was before Lalo. I mean, Lalo was big, but it's always Kim, right? I think if they would have done something to Kim, it would have been like, how dare they, so.
Well, think about that series. I mean, just thinking about the gender piece, right? So Breaking Bad, you've got a good mix of, male and female characters. I mean, and I guess there are certainly, it's more balanced male in Breaking Bad as well, but you at least had more. I mean, I can't think of another female character that's a prominent in Saul, and she really, the people can relate to everything from to the end, right? The scene on the bus, when I think about her wrapped up in the bus, I remember seeing an interview after they shot that scene where the sobbing, the baying, the absolute heartache that goes through her, and I forgot even who was interviewing her about it, saying, where does this come from? Anybody that's ever had their heart broken has had that, that experience, man. And we've all felt that. To be able to communicate that through film and TV is genius. I think she's I think she's, when I say underrated, because she would probably get recognized as a support actress, and support actor in the film or in the show. I mean, she carries the show, right? And Odenkirk is incredible, right? But that's the thing. I mean, that's the casting, it's the writing, it's the genius behind this whole thing. And Lori in the
And
chat
still no
here,
Emmys.
And still no Emmys.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just for a behind the scenes, the woman who comforts Kim on the bus,
yeah.
Vince's wife.
Yeah. You just see her
Really?
hand, but that's Vince's wife. Yeah.
Those cameos.
Well, are they married? Or are they just...
No, they're married.
They're married.
Okay.
I didn't know if they'd just been living together for 20 years.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, so Saul, for you, Mark.
Yes.
When you guys went into the season 6 premiere and you were at the red carpet, was it? So it was at the Chinese Theater, right, in Hollywood. Is that right?
No, it was actually at the American Legion.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Right by the Hollywood Bowl.
How do they set it up? Do they have somebody, did the cast come out and say, all right, guys, so before you watch this, here's a precursor. If you don't like it, just get up and leave. No, tell me.
Now, this is the funny thing. And when we were finished with the red carpet, and they were basically pushing us all into the theater. And I laugh at this because we walk in, and I'm going to sidetrack here a little bit. We walk in and we're walking down the aisle to our seat, and we're walking past, all these people,
Other actors,
and we're like, where are we?
Where
going?
are we going? I thought we were going to be in the last aisle.
Yeah.
We should have been in the nosebleed section.
And we just
But
kept
we were,
walking.
boom, right there.
I
And I look over to my right, and there's Ed Begley Jr. just
Oh
sitting
my
right there.
God.
And I'm a huge fan of Ed Begley Jr. because he was on Star Trek.
Heck
And
yeah.
I get up and walk over to him, and I'm like, Mr. Begley, I'm a huge fan. Can I get a picture? And he looked at me and he goes, "You vaccinated?"
Oh, nice.
Double vax, double boosted. He's like, "Good man, get a picture." And I was like, and I was blown away because I have a picture of me with him up on the wall. And I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm nobody, but I'm sitting next to an AMC executive on my left.
Right there. I mean, Odenkirk was 2 rows in front of us.
Chowing on popcorn.
And then, Patrick Fabian is right there in front of us. We have Lalo that's sitting in the same row as we are. The twins are right next to us. It was
Wow.
So we're sitting there, and this is, and actually somebody else said it too. Julian Monfiglio said he heard it too. They did before the episode premiered. They showed that American Crime or whatever it was.
like this behind.
Yeah, little biography. But before they got up there, a Sony executive got up there, an AMC executive got up there, and did Vince get up there too?
No,
Vince didn't get up there. But the Sony executive gets up there, and he starts his speech, and he goes, "You're about to watch the beginning of the end of the Breaking Bad universe for now."
For now.
He slipped in the words "for now," and I thought I was the only one who heard it because I asked, "Did you know?" And, no, I didn't hear it. I didn't. And then somebody else said, "You heard him say that too, didn't you?" And so I heard it. I was not going crazy.
No, I was in my own world there. I was like, "Oh my God, there's he's like sitting right 2 rows ahead of me eating popcorn. There's Bob Odenkirk right there."
But that was, and then just to see how red carpets work.
Yeah.
You see them on TV and everything, but to see how it really works in person. You just have all of these people with their cameras and everything. Just stop here. Everybody's going to take your picture.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be interviewed by all these different people, and then you're just going to move on down the line. I thought that was just the coolest thing. And then just to see all those people on the red carpet. And then later, after it was over with, we watched the season and we're like, wait, that's why that person was there.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Sussman from Big Bang Theory was there. Stewart from Big Bang Theory was there. Why are you here? And then there were some other people there that they didn't actually make it to the show. And then this one guy comes up to us and he goes, "Take a picture with me."
Take a picture with me.
And we took a picture with. He goes, "You don't know who I am."
He's got this crazy hair with this hat, and he's like, "You're not gonna know who I am, but you will soon." And we're like, "All right, let's take a picture." And it was the guy that the broken arm in the park.
Oh my God.
The fake judge.
The fake judge.
Yeah. Oh my.
And here's one of the very famous funny.
His 15 minutes of fame. Right?
Exactly.
Right. You may be the only person that has a picture with him. Just seeing. But
probably.
Yeah.
Vince never got to leave the theater. Everybody
sure.
just kept going to Vince and bringing him drinks and everything.
Yeah.
So we were leaving the theater, and I had told Ed, I was like, "Ed, that's Betsy Kettleman right there." He's like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Betsy Kettleman." So we're walking out of the theater, and her husband was there, and her husband goes, "This is Betsy Kettleman." Now, mind you, you see Betsy Kettleman as this very wispy, homely-looking woman.
Yeah.
She's got the dress down to here, and the hair, and the heels, and
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't, looked at her closely, I would have just walked on by her. But
Sure.
and it was like, and
Well,
we sat and talked to her for what, like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
it was
So,
great. I mean, we were just talking to everybody, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was, again, it can't beat that.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
I love, I love that you had that experience. It probably enhanced your whole understanding of how the formation and the creation of this went from writing the story to making this a reality, right? To bring this to the screen. And then you get to see, not only did it affect you guys in this great way, but all the people around the world. You talked about character development. I was going to ask you guys a couple of questions because for me, I think the genius things where I talked a little bit about the realism, that Rhea Seehorn, how she conveyed the most extreme emotion, right? Like that sorrow. It wasn't just sadness. It wasn't just this was everything that she believed in just coming to just this boil where everything from her soul spilled out on camera. I'm thinking about character development of villains, right? And so my scene, the very first scene I ever saw, was Tuco beating the shit out of Jesse with the money in the junkyard. I remember having mono. I was sick, and I was supposed to be doing shows out. It was before I joined the Flock of Seagulls. I was with Animotion at that point. We were out touring, and it was the first show I ever had to miss because I got pneumonia that I went into mono, and I was delirious. And I was sitting in bed, flipping through channels, and all of a sudden I get past Tuco, and I go back. I'm like, did he? Oh my God. Wow. I remember feeling like, what is this show? It was so intense, but that character, Tuco, scared the crap out of me. He was so spooky. And the development of villains on that show, because of course, at the end, the most extreme villain is Walt, right? I mean, he's the protagonist, but he's also the most extreme villain. But the development of villains. And so I think about across the board between Saul and Breaking Bad, you've got these villains. So I'm going to just lay a few out here. Maybe you guys can tell me who you feel like was the most sinister, the best developed villain. So we've got Tuco, we've got Lalo, we've got Gus Fring. I want to throw Hector in there too, because he doesn't have a lot to do with the, I guess, action of enforcing his villainness, but his face and then, his like just the intensity, all the scenes that were shot around the bell and the way that he interacted. So maybe Marq, for you, who was the most dramatic villain for you on the show?
it was Holly.
Yeah.
Poor Holly.
Well, didn't Walt do everything just for her? I mean, come on.
That's right.
No,
That's true.
I'm teasing.
Yeah.
No, actually, I of all the character, I mean, if you're going basically off of character development,
Okay.
Tuco, in the short amount of time he had, they made him evil from you knew how evil he was.
Right. From taking care of his abuela at the beginning.
Here's one that you didn't even mention, and I think is the best villain in the entire series, Todd.
Oh yeah.
Because you
killing
didn't
the kid.
See how from the moment he that cherub face.
Yeah.
And then you don't really get to see how much creepy he was until El Camino.
Yeah.
Which was, but his character, I think, of development, his was the one I think he could have been the biggest villain.
Interesting. Yeah, that's great.
Because you saw he did not care. I mean, he was the one who shot Andrea in the head, too.
Andrea, yeah.
Right in front of, and so you knew that he was evil.
Yeah.
But he also had that, innocence about him as well.
That's so
Where
true.
Lalo comes in, he's part of the cartel. He's a Salamanca. You
right.
know he's going to be bad. But nothing can prepare you for Todd's creepiness and evilness.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
So.
And that's true. Yeah. Everybody comes in and they do talk about the twins. The twins too are very good just because they don't say anything.
Right.
You don't know what they just convey again. It's sort of like their Tio. They just convey it with their face, with their expressions. That's the beauty of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's like you don't even have to be saying anything. You can just convey it.
Yeah.
And they're creepy too. But I would actually say Todd too. He's just again, you see how weird this man was just because with El Camino, you see how he lived. Yeah. You see like the little trinkets he has around his bedroom. He's very, It's just crazy.
Has no issue just offing the cleaning lady because she
Right.
found his encyclopedias.
Right.
But on that same note, you could also throw out there Chuck.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh,
like you said, all Jimmy wanted to do was impress him, and he went and he screwed him over at every turn.
yeah.
Until and then he finally got his final revenge by killing himself.
Oh my God.
And really messing up Jimmy even more.
Yeah.
So again, the way the writing is like you said, everybody's rooting for Walt, but then
Right.
he ends up being the biggest villain at the end.
Right.
And then what happens, like with Patrick Fabian, with Howard Hamlin? You don't like him in the beginning because you think he's the villain, but actually he's just going off what Chuck is going, and you feel bad for him because he wanted to actually help Jimmy.
And then that oh my God, that scene
When he gets shot, when
Yeah.
Howard gets shot.
yeah
Yeah, I did remember seeing an interview there too because he didn't know that was what was coming, and Rhea Seahorn and Bob didn't know either that that's what was being written into the scene, that he was going to be killed in that scene when Lalo comes in, and it was a surprise to them until like day of the shooting, and like they see him walk in, they're like,
yeah
sorry, man. Like,
and then I was talking to a young lady today who was she was a huge Saul fan, like
Yeah.
the character Saul Goodman.
sure.
And I was like, "Have you watched Better Call Saul?" And she goes, "No, not yet." I'm like, "Wait until you watch Better Call Saul. See if your opinion of Saul does not change from what you know from Breaking Bad to what you see in Better Call Saul. Because when Howard gets killed, it's all because of Kim and Saul.
Yeah.
And so your opinion of Saul changes dramatically at that point. He's not the lawyer that we all fell in love with in Breaking Bad. He's now an evil character. Because then again, the writing can make anybody evil.
Yeah.
First of all, you can't blame Kim for that. She didn't know. Please don't blame. Bria, listen, if you're listening to this,
I understand.
Yeah.
I know you love your Kim, but
I understand that you're.
I do, and you know what?
Didn't they have like a little board how they were going to
Yes.
screw over Howard?
Yeah, but
because of that, they drove him to the point where he was at that apartment at that time.
yeah, but she
I
realized.
also seem to
that's
remember
what
she
caused.
That
was the heartbreak.
The prostitute in her car.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
that really like no one's innocent on the entire show. Actually, you know
No.
what? Actually, Walt Jr. is the only innocent one in the entire show, man. Like he's the sweetheart. He's the guy that puts together the website to save his dad, and like, oh my God,
he is. He's the only one.
And he defended his
Holly.
mom. And he defended his mom again.
And Holly, the baby. Can't blame the baby, right? Is there anyone else? I mean, like Badger might be the closest, right? So
no, I mean Badger was still. I mean, he
was
broke
the best.
Bad. Badger broke bad. They all broke bad.
They did.
Lyle.
Oh, okay.
Gus's
Lyle.
manager,
Yeah.
Lyle. He was all he wanted to do was take care of Gus.
Yeah, he was the very truth. He loved Gus. He loved Los Pollos. Everything.
Mr.
Yeah.
Freeman,
Oh,
is there anything I
that's
can do
true.
for you?
Right. Oh, that's true. Lyle, sweet Lyle. I keep looking for him when I go into Twisters there to see if he's at Los Pollos or Hermanos. But it's always the same lady behind the counter. Hey, so if you guys, here's a couple of things, because I know some people came in late. I'm going to ask two things. Number one, if Caleb is still watching, I saw that he was in here and we had the conversation about the development from Saul, from Breaking Bad into Saul, and I wanted to see if maybe his thoughts, Mark, you mentioned, to see if somebody had seen Breaking Bad with their impression of Saul, if his impression of Jimmy McGill and Saul changed after having seen Better Call Saul. So Caleb, if you're watching, throw that in the chat. I'm interested to hear your response. Now, let me tell people that if they got here late, and some people did, I'm talking to these incredible. Somebody is in the chat says #save Lyle.
Yes.
I love that. I'm talking to two gentlemen who basically have done everything in their life to bring to the public this love and passion for Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, El Camino, the greatest series of shows, I believe, on TV ever. They have the Breaking Bad store in Albuquerque, so you can go to breakingbadstoreabq.com. You will find a ton of merchandise, everything you want to see related to those shows. So go there, and your good friend Mark Smith will actually package that stuff up. When you do your online orders, just request gift wrapping, and he'll gladly throw that into nice little packaging and send that to somebody, your favorite Saul or Breaking Bad fan. So they've got a ton of stuff there. If you're anywhere near Albuquerque, New Mexico, you have to make an opportunity to get into the store, because not only can you find all this stuff right there in person and not look at it on the web, but they've got a museum with so many detailed, authentic, verified products and props from this show, from this series of shows. I told you, I've been in there twice. I've been in there each time, 45 minutes to an hour, and I see so much stuff that that I never expected to see. I'm blown away by the amount of detail that you put into it. One other thing I wanted to mention, and I think the beautiful thing is, you encourage people to take pictures. Don't touch the props, of course, because we don't want to ruin the museum, but how great it is that you bring people into this place right here and truly make it a fan experience, right? You want photos behind the scenes. You can get into Hector's wheelchair. You can get down behind Saul's desk, and feel like you're right there, as a unscrupulous lawyer and just ready to screw anybody over for a dime. You can sit behind the Los Pollos Hermanos counter with your apron and hat, and feel like you're right there with Gus looking over your shoulder. So I know that you got a lot of fans here, and you've made a huge one in me. If you guys want to just give me another, maybe a parting anecdote for your fans as they come in yeah.
I have one.
Okay.
I have one, and it's how Ed ruined filming. Can I tell you that story real quick?
Sure, please. I'd love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to let me.
No, I was reading the chat here. I saw this person said they had the pleasure of hanging out with you several times at the store and at events. And yeah.
Well, thank you to all of them
Yes.
that came, here. We, Lori and Robin and Joe. I wish Ryder.
Robin, I don't know who Casa de Fuego, House of Cheese is, but
House of
thank
Cheese.
You so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
And Caleb, so wonderful meeting you.
Caleb, thank you for
everything.
all of
yes.
it.
All right. So your part.
We will continue to do fan events for the fans, because
Always.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
No, we
Karina, I'm sorry.
We were They were filming out at Los Pollos, and it's the scene where Hank and Walt go out to Los Pollos to put the tracker on Gus's car.
Right.
And they had it made up like Los Pollos, and we knew they were out there filming. And so Ed and I are like, let's go out there and see if we can meet anyone and see what we can do. So we drive up, and they didn't block the parking lot, so we pull into the parking lot and we park like it's a regular space.
Oh my god!
And
there was nobody there.
So we there's nobody, no crew, no nothing.
Did you pull up in an Aztec?
Well, they did, but so we get out of the Jeep, and the security guard starts walking towards us, right? And I'm going over to the security guard to schmooze the security guard. Oh, we didn't know they were filming it.
Ed sneaks into the scene.
I wish it was that simple.
No. Yeah.
I'm over there walking over to the security guard, and the security guard, you can't be here. We didn't know they were filming everything. The Pontiac Aztec pulls into the parking lot. Brian and Dean are in the vehicle. Ed goes running up to the Aztec. Oh my God! And here's Brian. Here's Brian in the window. We didn't realize they were filming, doing the inside scenes and everything.
Yeah, we
didn't realize what we had just done.
And you hear
the
cut.
Yeah.
we still hear from the crew.
The crew still says, oh yeah, we remember that day. We still remember that day.
God.
But every time I see that scene, I'm like, oh yeah, I wish they would have kept. Yeah, maybe that's a deleted scene where you see this wild guy coming. Oh my God!
Just the way he goes. Oh my God, Brian, I love you! And just Brian's expression is just so priceless.
I'm so, you know what?
And it's just,
they're very detailed, but I would love to go back and watch the episodes so that I could see if in the reflection in the mirrors there in Los Pollos,
after they kicked us off the set, we did drive over across the street to another parking lot and watched them film it multiple times. So,
oh my God.
It was just the most hilarious. That's my favorite anecdote of our adventures in life. But
I mean, the culmination had to have been the premiere in Hollywood. I think it's such a cool way to experience. Ed's thinking about something else though. He's got something else here.
There was one more. Well,
okay.
Before the store started, we have a Facebook group now, and it's the Better Call Saul 3 Strikes group. And what Marq and I, this is before the storm. We're still doing it. We again our Facebook group, the store. It's always going to be for the fans. So what we have always done is we always have summer parties for the fans, and they can come and we treat them. We'll go to a hotel or we'll go, and we just, we'll do it up, right? And so our last one, of course, this is before the plague started, was in 2019. We had it in August, and this is when Better Call Saul was still filming. We did it up. Everybody was having a great time. Patrick Fabian actually came to the party. We just asked him. We had Jeremiah Bitsui, who plays Victor. We had Julian Bonfiglio, who's one of the UNM students. He came by. To me, that was like, wow. It's like this is even before the store. So even our this party is huge for me because we just, again, it's always for the fans. Marq and I are just like, we just love to have everybody have a good time. We give out tons of prizes at these things. Marq and I do these stupid skits. We're always, and it's always around the shows. And that's what we love to do. And we're going to do one last hurrah next year. And so it's just, again, that's one of my favorites. We just have this trove of all these memories that Marq and I have. It's just that was the culmination. I think was the Hollywood premiere. But man, it's just I have so many great things that we've done in these over 10 years. It's been great.
People could probably find more of these anecdotes if they pop in and they get to see you guys behind the counter, right? Because somebody in the chat, Robin Salazar mentioned your QR code tattoo, which is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
So Ed's got a tattoo that if you scan that QR code, you're going to get the compilation video of every time Jesse says "bitch" on the show. So I love this. Yeah, people are talking about you writing a book. I'm sure the book is coming, but these are all chapters in your book, man. I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you sharing it this time and what you do for the fans. I think it's a beautiful thing, folks. If you got here late, Ed and Marq both have this incredible store. Go in and check out Breaking Bad store, Albuquerque. The link is down below. I'll make sure that we've got all that information in the show notes. If you did not already do so, make sure that you like this episode, subscribe to the channel, become a member on the YouTube channel. There are over 260 other episodes of really fun and inspiring people. I've got some great ones coming up on the 7th, which is Wednesday of December. Lamar Stillwell of Point Defiance has got a great story about going and shooting this amazing cover of David Bowie's Fame with Snoop Dogg at the Playboy Mansion. We'll talk about all that good stuff. We're old bandmates from many years before. So they're here on the 7th. And I want to make sure that you guys all know that Marq and Ed have done everything for the fans. Go to BreakingBadStoreABQ.com. And Marq and Ed, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Guys, go out and go to this link. Buy all you can for all of your family members and friends. And get some Christmas gifts so that these guys can stay in business and expand this store. Because the museum... We've got a new addition. They announced it earlier. We're going to have the boots and suits from the cousins are going to be there at the museum starting the first of the year. So,
well, thank you so much, Kevin, for having us.
Yes.
This was so much fun.
Again, who would have thought a town would have brought us together?
Waukegan,
Illinois.
Waukegan, Illinois. Yep.
Now, in all fairness, Kevin, Ed came home and told me I met this guy from Sheboygan.
I thought it was Sheboygan. For some
yeah. Well, you get to talk to an awful lot of people, and I know that I'm a forgettable face, so it's all right.
No, I said it was like, oh my god, I met the drummer from Flock of Seagulls. I can't. He
did say that.
It was
like,
amazing.
Really, the Flock of Seagulls? What?
Yeah.
That's right.
We were excited. And so nice to meet you too. Thank you for coming into the store and visiting with us.
It's a pleasure to meet you guys too. Thank you guys so much in the chat. I really appreciate everybody here. Again, please go subscribe to the channel. I would love to find out the next time you guys do your in-stores. I want to come and do a little meet and greet. See, and both you guys, thank you so much. Your dog is dying to be fed, so go do it.
I know,
please, Kristen.
What's going on here?
All right, gentlemen. Have a wonderful week. Everybody have a great season. Get out there and watch Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul so that you can see the reflection of Ed running up to the Aztec as he gets to Los Pollos Hermanos. All right?
So
take care,
Thank
everyone.
You, everybody.
Everyone,
have a great
night. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Good night.